Ciao.
This episode of In a Few Minutes is sponsored by BetterHelp, online counseling that's there for you. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health at betterhelp.com/afew.
Hello, grandfather.
Hello.
He can talk then, can he? Of course he can talk. He's a human being, isn't he?
Well, if he's your grandfather, who knows?
You just roll with it.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. So here's what I'm thinking. I had an idea for a short film. It's a parody.
Okay.
Did you see the Beatles movie A Hard Day's Night?
Yes.
Okay, and you know the part at the beginning where everybody's chasing the Beatles and the Beatles are running and then they're hiding and then sometimes they're disguised, but then people spot them and they start chasing them again?
Yes, and I have to say, I have this horrible problem that when I see the scene, I hear yakety sax in the background.
Yeah, it's kind of bad, especially because they're actually playing the song A Hard Day's Night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but here's my idea. We shoot that again, but with the Apple polishing cloth. and so you put the Apple polishing cloth on a stick, right? And so people it looks like the worst puppet ever running down the street, but then a bunch of people chasing it. And the shot that I keep seeing in my head is a bunch of people running past, and then the Apple polishing cloth turns around, but it's got a hat and a mustache and is smoking a pipe, like Paul after they ran past him in that movie.
That's actually better than the image I had, which was when the cloth turns, it's Groucho Marx glasses.
Oh, okay. That works too. That would actually be fine, whatever it is. But
I mean, it gets the mustache.
That is the craziest. That could be the craziest Apple story of the year. And the thing is, it's not really that crazy. I was talking it over with a friend. I'm sorry, Jeff Gamet is here with us, everybody. I just went straight into the conversation. Jeff Gamet. You know him from back in the day at the Mac Observer. Are we talking about anything else right now, or are you just a guy being a dude?
I'm a guy being a dude, but
okay.
I'm making YouTube videos when the mood strikes me.
Oh, cool.
So
okay.
There's that.
What's your? I think you talked about that last time you were here, but remind everybody, what is your YouTube channel?
YouTube.com/JGamet.
YouTube.com/JGamet. So there you go. As seen on what today passes for TV.
Right.
Jeff Gamet is here with us. That, I was talking over that whole cloth story with somebody earlier, and they're like, what's the deal? And I was like, the deal is it's $19 and it's hard to get. That's the deal with that now. That can be the only thing. I think initially the deal was, it's $19. I can get something. Like Apple is freaking Tiffany at this point, right? Like, the keychain they used to sell at Tiffany, which is like, well, it's only $50, and then I can say I got something from Tiffany. That's what I hear. I've never actually gotten one of those, but that's pretty much what the $19 thing is, right?
Well, now I know what to get you for Christmas.
Something from Tiffany?
The Tiffany keychain.
No, okay, that's fine. Please don't. Because then I'll put it on, and then that'll be more stuff on my keychain. I'll start taking off keys because, of the dongles.
I get it.
So before we got together today, I asked you if you got anything new of all the new Apple stuff that Apple has come out with, because they've come out with a ton of new stuff. There's the iPod Mini. There's the iPad Mini. There's the new iPad. There are, of course, the new MacBooks. There's the iPhone 13 Mini, Pro, Max, and, Mr. In Between right there.
Right. New AirPods.
I don't know if you've heard, there's a polishing cloth that is all the rage these days. And then there's Apple Watch Series 7. And you said that the thing that you would have gotten would have been an Apple Watch Series 7 if it had new sensors, but it didn't. So you didn't. What are you looking for from the watch?
New sensors.
Well, okay, but that doesn't tell me.
I know, and it's kind of a jerk answer to throw back at you.
All right,
but okay, so there were. It's a two-pronged thing for me. The first prong was new sensors in just a general sense, and I very likely would have bought the Series 7 Apple Watch, regardless of what new sensors it had, simply because it had new sensors. Which is crazy, but yay, capitalism. Okay, so then the other prong on the fork, specifically, what sort of sensors am I looking for? And we already have a nice array of sensors on the Apple Watch. And really, we've had a nice array since, I'd say, Series 4.
Right.
And now what I'm looking for is something with the sensors that really takes us into more information. Like, well, of course, because that's what a sensor is. But
Right.
yeah. But what I mean is, something that gives us more well-rounded data about ourselves. And so the sensor that I think would be really, really cool to see, even though to the best of my knowledge, it's not a sensor that I personally need today, would be that non-invasive glucose monitor.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about that again. Just in the past couple of days, I saw a couple of people on Twitter talking about it. Because we talked to Mike Rose about a week ago, I think. And he wants a new watch, but he's not getting a new watch. And then somebody wrote in and they were like, if this rumor ends up being true, this is the one I'm getting. And it's the glucose monitor thing. But it feels like we've been hearing that rumor for the past couple of years.
We have. And I mean, this is a really hard bit of technology to break through because you have to do it right. And Apple's not going to do a sensor like that if they haven't really nailed it.
Right.
So we need that. The other sensor that to me would be kind of intriguing would be body temperature. But the thing is, can you actually get a reasonably accurate body temperature reading from something on your wrist? And I think the answer is no.
It's kind of hard to imagine how you would be able to, because sweat would affect that, whether I'm wearing like right now I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt over my watch. I would think that would affect it. I mean, all kinds of things I would think would make that difficult.
Yeah, I agree, which tells me if we're going to get that,
Yeah.
it means new AirPods. Because if you stick it in your ear, you can get
Hey, stick it in your ear. Why are you being insulting? Oh, I'm sorry.
It's been a rough day.
I misunderstood. I apologize. Go ahead.
Yeah, but anyhow, if you stick it in your ear in the polite way,
right,
you can get you can get your body temperature. You can get some more data about heart rate and blood pressure.
Yeah.
So, maybe what I have to accept is that to get the sensors that I ultimately want, even though I don't necessarily need them, means that I'll be buying new AirPods and a new Apple Watch. So
you gave me an idea. Here's what I'm thinking. Because the watch just comes, like the band comes right off, right?
Right.
They build a sensor where you just pop it in your mouth.
That's brilliant.
Just pop it in your mouth to take your temperature and try not to swallow it. I'll tell you what I'm really excited about. I think it was WatchOS 8.1 introduced a new algorithm that's going to make fall detection more accurate. I'm going to try that out so hard later.
Yeah. Like I'm going to do some serious falling to see how that works.
Yeah. I'm going to start from like one step up and see how it goes. And if it doesn't call anybody, I'll go for 3.
I got a couple really good tests off that prior to this update. And
all right, seriously, did you have a problem?
Well,
I'm not being a jerk. I mean,
I'm laughing because I'm about to tell you how I managed to get the sensor to try and call 911 twice.
Okay. All right.
So the first time, I am up at a ski resort, and it's holiday tradition. My brother and I, we go skiing over the Christmas holiday.
Okay.
And so been doing great all day. And it's lunchtime, and I'm walking into the Midway Lodge, halfway up the mountain, so we can have lunch, which is our nice way of saying we'll eat something and then drink for a substantial part of the afternoon.
Yeah.
And I slipped on the big deck as we're walking up, and I went down flat and hard right on my back.
Oh.
Now, this is in and of itself a really good reason to make sure you're wearing a helmet when you ski or snowboard, because you're just as likely to mess yourself up walking into the lodge to get a drink as you are out on the slopes. And that set off the sensor. And I didn't realize it had gone off until my watch is frantically tapping me on my wrist, and it's counting down to call 911. And then the second time was actually like a month or so ago. And so there's this thing, when you're with family and a 7-year-old says, "Hey, Jeff, ride my scooter." And, the kind of scooter looks sort of like a skateboard, but it has a handle on it so you can stand up on it and hold onto the handles. So I'm handed this scooter that size for a 7-year-old. And of course, I rode it because a 7-year-old says, "Hey, Jeff, ride my scooter." And you do. And I rode it just like they did. And what they were doing at the end of the little run, you hit the end of the sidewalk, you go into the grass, and shoot up the grass to the other sidewalk.
Oh, dude.
It turns out that I weigh a lot more than a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
And so when that front wheel hit the grass, it sank and stopped, and I kept going.
Oh, okay.
And it set off the sensor, and I'm laying there as my watch is getting ready to call 911, and listening to a 7-year-old laugh so hard that I thought they might die. Anyhow, so the sensor works.
More with Jeff in a moment, but first a word from BetterHelp, online counseling that's there for you. I read a pretty insightful Twitter thread recently. Part of it said, "People are collectively burned out. Attention spans have shortened. Fatigue is real. This is true of literally everyone." Okay, I don't know if it's true of literally everyone, though it does feel like a lot lately. If it feels that way to you, there is help out there. BetterHelp, sponsor of today's show. Let's say you'd like somebody to talk to, a professional who can help you with it. Answer a few questions, and BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. BetterHelp happens all online, so your counselor is on your tablet, on your computer, on the phone, wherever you need them. You and your therapist connect in a safe and private online environment. That means you can find somebody who deals with what you need specifically, not just somebody who's nearby. And yet, you get the same protections as you would heading to somebody's office, the same confidentiality, and help. As a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at BetterHelp.com/AFew. That's HELP, BetterHelp.com/AFew, as in a few minutes. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. Again, that is BetterHelp, HELP, BetterHelp.com/AFew. And thanks to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's show. Back now with our friend Jeff Gamet. You know him from the YouTube, online at youtube.com/jgamet. So I wanted to start off talking about Apple Watch for a couple of reasons. First of all, because it was the thing that you said And that's the thing I would get if it was worth it. But I also wanted to tell people about the problem that I had moving from my old Apple Watch to my new Apple Watch.
And I really want to hear about this too.
It's really not that big a deal. It's just the kind of thing that I wish somebody had thought of or somebody had said something. And I'm sorry that it's taken me over a week to say anything. Because of my work with the checklist by Secure Mac, because I've been doing more security stuff that show turned 5 last month. 5 years.
Wow.
I had no idea I'd been doing it for that long, but...
Well, congratulations.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. But, yeah, so because I've been paying more attention to security stuff, I've been updating my hardware more often, especially if they release something that says, this is a security update. Don't worry about anything else. You're not going to lose any functionality. Nothing's going to change, but we want to make you more secure. So I don't know if you remember, the week before the Series 7 watches went out, Apple released watchOS 8.0.1. Mm-hmm. And it was a security fix. And so I was like, okay, great. I'll go ahead and do that. Updated that. A couple days later, my Series 7 watch came, unpaired my old watch, tried to go and put my new watch in and go from the backup. And it's all like, well, your last backup was like a year ago. I'm like, no, my last backup was not a year ago. It was like 5 minutes ago. What's going on? And you know what the issue was. I actually had to go in and update to 8.0.1 on the new watch because my backup was in the future as far as my brand new watch was concerned.
Yeah.
And so that was a moment of freak out.
I've been bit by that too.
Yeah, that's not the big thing though. I've had a bigger issue, and I don't think there's a fix for this. I think I am the ghost in the machine, or I am being haunted by the ghost in the machine. I don't know which. Mm-hmm. So my special lady friend and I, we share bills. She takes care of some stuff. I take care of some other stuff. At the end of the month, we, sort stuff out. A couple of the bills that she takes care of are always bigger. And so we subtract what I paid for this and do that and whatever. And then I send her money and I send it to her. The easiest way to do it is Apple Pay Cash, right?
Makes sense.
And I've been doing that for a couple of years and had absolutely no problem until this past weekend, when I tried to send her something that was $550, let's say $550. It was a little bit more than that, but whatever. Right around $550, and tried to send it to her, and it came back and said, "Yeah, this has been declined by your financial institution," because I do it off my bank account, whatever. Mm-hmm. And it said, "Call your bank." I said, "Well, my bank is small and it's the weekend, so that's not going to be any good." I tried them anyway, but they were like, "Oh, well, we're closed. Call us back Monday." So I called them back Monday and they said, yeah, go in and change your zip code on your phone. I said, "Why do I need to change my zip code on my phone?" And they said, "Because it's showing us the zip code from a place you lived 5 years ago." Now, they didn't know it was 5 years ago. They were just like, "You've got the zip code." I was like, "Yeah, I lived there a long time ago. Long before my financial institution actually used Apple Pay or Apple Pay Cash or anything. I couldn't put my card in 5 years ago when I lived at that zip code." But I went in, I hunted around, looked for everything, couldn't find anything on the phone where it was that. And my bank very helpfully said, "Well, you're going to need to call Apple because we've got all your information correct and you're telling us that your information is in the phone correct. For some reason, though, they're sending us the wrong zip code." So I got on the phone with Apple. 45 minutes later, got disconnected. Now, the person who was trying to help me was very helpful. She was really trying everything she could. She was messaging other people. But the fourth time she put me on hold, I used to work in a call center. I'm like, yeah, my luck is going to run out soon. You can't put somebody on hold that often and have it be cool. And so, I got disconnected. And I thought, well, we verified my phone number. She's got my email address. I'm going to hear something back. I did, of course, hear nothing back. And so then next day, I called my, who did I call next? I think I called my bank again. And I was like, right. So they walked me through all this stuff and I can't find that. Can you do something? And they walked through everything and they were like, no, you're going to have to call Apple. So I called Apple and had to start the whole thing over again. Got escalated to somebody who was a specialist in either Apple Pay or Apple Pay Cash. I'm not sure which. and reset the phone, take the card out, put the card back in, go here. Have you looked over in this place? I've seriously even run a search for that zip code on my phone, like just on the phone itself, trying to figure out if there's any place else that's stored tied to my name. Mm-hmm. The answer appears to be no. And here's something you'll love to hear. The guy at Apple was like, "This is not us." And I'm like, well, you don't know that, because here's the thing. The only thing that has changed in the past, because I do this monthly, the only thing that's changed since the last time I did this was getting an iPhone 13. And I'm not blaming the iPhone 13. I'm saying that's the only variable in this whole thing that I know about. Mm-hmm. But obviously this phone has never had anything to do with that zip code. And so they were like, yeah, call your bank. And if your bank says call Apple, tell your bank, stick it in your ear. No, that's not what they said. They said, tell the person who tells you that you need to call Apple to elevate this or escalate this to their manager, and then tell their manager to call the payment processor. So I've got a lot of really friendly people trying to help me out. And so far, apparently I'm going to have to go back to writing checks like a caveman.
That's stone knives and bear skins.
No, right? It's terrible.
Now, and I'm assuming that that the question I'm about to ask you, the answer is, of course, they checked there too, because everything is escalated. But I'm asking, as the listeners, thinking, oh, but did Ken think to look here?
Yeah.
So they had you check the billing address linked to the account.
Yeah.
In the Watch app on your phone.
In the Watch app on my phone?
Yes.
All right. Seriously, if you fix this, I'm never calling anybody but you again.
Ken, for you, I would take the call.
I appreciate that. Oh, I think they might have actually, but where are you talking about? Okay, I'm actually doing it right now. Go ahead.
Okay, so you go into the Watch app on your phone.
Yep.
And then you go into Wallet and Apple Pay. Okay. Wallet and Apple Pay.
Yep.
And then you should see a list showing your various payment options.
Yeah, no, they did have me check that. It's the same.
Okay. Yeah. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping that you had solved it, but no, you didn't.
Yeah, I expected that I hadn't.
Yeah.
But it's the one place that I could think of that wouldn't or that would be easier to miss.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Here's the thing. I actually probably shouldn't have brought this up, because I'll bet I'm going to get a lot of emails from people saying, hey, did you try this? And the thing is, I'm going to actually look at all of them and see if I did try it, because somebody obviously somewhere is missing something. Although I do like the fact that now the guy from Apple is like, yeah, seriously, this is out there in the ether. This is in the zeros and ones. Cowboy and Trouble are out there, surfing the cyberspace thing, and they're passing by your old zip code. So I like the fact that somebody is saying it's not you, it's them. I wish somebody was saying it's not you, it's me, but we'll see what happens.
It's possible in this case that Apple is right. And I'm basing this so very loosely on something that I have seen happen with another friend and Apple Pay. And they have a local bank, and the local bank will periodically decline their Apple Pay Cash stuff, or even just Apple Pay stuff, because the card that's linked in, the address is wrong. And they go in and have to put their address back in. And there's no reason why this should have changed, because they never went and changed it.
See, here's what's weird, because I've tried that too. I've actually gone in and put in the same address that I currently have, the one that is correct, the one that matches what's on my bank information. Here's the other thing that's weird. Worked just fine at Trader Joe's less than a week ago. It's not Apple Pay that's messed up. It's Apple Pay Cash.
So, okay.
I'm afraid. Here's the thing. You and I will keep doing this, because I don't want to bore these people. You and I will keep doing this after we say goodbye.
Fair enough.
Which will feel weird to us because we will have said goodbye, and then I don't even know how. That's going to be awkward.